Here's something that might surprise you. You can lose weight on the scale and still have dangerous fat around your organs. I'm talking about visceral fat, and if you're over 60, this is information that could add years to your life. Let me be direct with you. That stubborn belly fat isn't just about how you look. It's wrapped around your liver, your pancreas, your heart. And here's what most doctors won't take the time to explain. This is the fat driving your diabetes risk, your heart disease risk, and yes, even your cancer risk. But here's the good news I want you to hold on to. Visceral fat is actually the easiest fat to lose once you understand how to target it properly. And today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do that, step by step, at a pace that works for your body and your lifestyle. Now, I know you've probably heard 1,000 weight loss tips before, but let me explain why visceral fat deserves your special attention, especially after age 60. As we get older, our bodies naturally shift fat storage patterns. You might notice that even if your weight stays the same, fat tends to accumulate more around your midsection. This isn't your fault. It's hormonal changes, it's metabolism slowing down, it's decades of life. But here's what's crucial. Visceral fat isn't like the fat you can pinch on your arms or legs. That's subcutaneous fat, and while we'd all like less of it, it's relatively harmless. Visceral fat, on the other hand, is metabolically active. Think of it as a toxic factory inside your body, constantly pumping out inflammatory chemicals that damage your organs. This is why two people can weigh the same, but one has diabetes and heart disease while the other doesn't. It's not just about the number on the scale, it's about where that fat lives in your body. And if you're thinking, well, I'm already in my 60s or 70s, is it too late? Let me stop you right there. Studies show that seniors who reduce visceral fat see improvements in blood sugar, blood pressure, and heart health within weeks. Your body is never too old to heal itself when you give it the right tools. Let's talk about food first, because this is where you have the most control, 3 times a day, every single day. I want you to think about carotenoids. Now, don't let that scientific word intimidate you. Carotenoids are simply the natural pigments that make vegetables colorful. They're what makes carrots orange, tomatoes red, and spinach that deep green color. But here's why they're magical for visceral fat. Carotenoids are powerful antioxidants that directly combat the inflammation driving fat storage around your organs. They work at the genetic level, literally turning on genes that tell your body to burn fat and turning off genes that tell your body to store it. There was a fascinating study in Japan where researchers had people eat carotenoid-rich vegetables for just 8 weeks. No crazy diet, no starvation, just adding colorful vegetables. The result? Significant reductions in visceral fat, especially in the group eating carrots and cabbage. So here's your practical action step. At every meal, I want you to include at least 1 serving of colorful vegetables. And let me make this easy for you. For breakfast, add spinach to your eggs, or have a small glass of low-sodium vegetable juice. For lunch, include a side salad with dark leafy greens, cherry tomatoes, and shredded carrots. Or make a vegetable soup. Seniors often find soups easier to digest and more satisfying. For dinner, roast some bell peppers, squash, or sweet potatoes. If chewing is difficult, steam your vegetables until they're tender. The carotenoids remain effective even when vegetables are cooked. In fact, cooking can sometimes make them more available to your body. And don't worry about eating perfectly. Even adding 2 or 3 servings of colorful vegetables to your daily routine will make a measurable difference. Now let's talk about what you're drinking, because this is where one simple change can accelerate your results. Green tea contains compounds called catechins. These are flavonoid polyphenol that specifically target visceral fat. Think of catechins as your body's fat-burning switch. They work in several ways. First, they increase the amount of fat your body burns for energy throughout the day. Second, they block some of the fat you eat from being absorbed in the first place. And third, they work together with the natural caffeine in green tea to boost your metabolism without the jitters you might get from coffee. A Japanese study found that drinking green tea with about 600 milligrams of catechins daily for 12 weeks resulted in significant visceral fat reduction. Now, that sounds like a lot, but it's actually just 3 to 4 cups of quality green tea spread throughout your day. Here's how to make this work for your lifestyle. Morning ritual. Start your day with a cup of green tea instead of your second cup of coffee. The gentle caffeine will give you energy without the afternoon crash. Afternoon pick-me-up. Have another cup around 2 or 3 p.m. This can help with that mid-afternoon energy slump many seniors experience. Evening option. If caffeine bothers you later in the day, stop by 2 p.m. or switch to a high-quality decaffeinated green tea. For maximum benefits, choose matcha or sencha teas. These are minimally processed and contain the highest levels of catechins. If the taste is too strong for you at first, add a small amount of honey or a squeeze of lemon. The important thing is to make it enjoyable so you'll stick with it. And here's something important for seniors. Green tea also supports brain health and may help with memory and cognitive function. So you're not just losing dangerous fat, you're supporting your brain at the same time. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, here comes the part where he tells me to run marathons. But that's not what the science shows, and that's definitely not what I'm going to recommend. Here's something fascinating from the research. While diet has a bigger effect on total weight loss, exercise actually has superior effects specifically on visceral fat. Let me say that again because it's so important. Exercise targets visceral fat better than dieting alone. There's a study that showed people doing just 2 45-minute cycling sessions per week reduced their visceral fat by 48%, almost half, in just 2 months. And get this, their total body weight barely changed. The scale didn't move much, but their body composition transformed dramatically. This is why I tell my senior patients, stop obsessing over the scale. Your scale cannot tell the difference between dangerous visceral fat and healthy muscle. You could be making remarkable progress that the scale completely misses. According to a recent analysis of 84 studies, the most effective exercises for burning visceral fat are moderate to vigorous intensity aerobic exercise and high-intensity interval training, or HIIT. Now, before you close this video thinking HIIT sounds too intense, let me reframe this for your stage of life. For seniors, moderate to vigorous doesn't mean sprinting or doing burpees. It means getting your heart rate up to about 70 to 80% of your maximum capacity. Here's a simple way to calculate that. Subtract your age from 220, then multiply by 0.7 and 0.8 to get your target range. For example, if you're 65 years old, maximum heart rate, 220 minus 65 equals 155. Target zone, 109 to 124 beats per minute. But honestly, you don't need to count anything. Use the talk test instead. Moderate intensity. You can speak in full sentences, but you sound a bit out of breath. Like you're walking at a pace where you could tell a friend a story, but you have to pause for breath between sentences. Vigorous intensity. You can only say a few words before needing to catch your breath. You're working hard, but you're not gasping. Here's what I recommend for seniors who want to lose visceral fat quickly and safely. Option 1. Walking program. This is best for beginners. Start with 20 minutes, 3 times per week. Walk at a pace where you feel slightly breathless but can still talk. Every week, add 5 minutes until you reach 45 minutes per session. Once you're comfortable at 45 minutes, start adding short intervals. Walk faster for 2 minutes, then return to your normal pace for 3 minutes. Repeat this pattern throughout your walk. Option 2. Water aerobics. This is best for joint issues. If you have arthritis or joint pain, water aerobics is phenomenal. The water supports your body weight while still allowing you to get your heart rate up. Aim for 45-minute sessions, 2 to 3 times per week. The beauty of water exercise is that it's naturally interval-based. You're constantly changing movements and intensity without even thinking about it. Option 3. Cycling. This was the exercise used in that powerful study I mentioned earlier. Cycling is joint-friendly and allows you to control your intensity precisely. Start with 20 to 30 minutes on a stationary bike or cycling on flat terrain. Gradually work up to 45 minutes, maintaining a pace where you're breathing harder but can still carry on a conversation. Option 4. Chair exercises. This is for limited mobility. If you have mobility limitations, don't think exercise isn't for you. Seated aerobics, arm circles, leg lifts, and marching in place can all get your heart rate up. There are excellent chair exercise videos specifically designed for seniors. The key is consistency. 30 to 45 minutes, 3 times per week, at an intensity where you feel your heart working. Here's something encouraging. Unlike dieting, where there's a limit to how much you can restrict calories, exercise has a dose-dependent response. That means the more you do, the better your results. Up to a reasonable point, of course. A recent study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine showed that participants who exercised more frequently or with higher intensity saw proportionally greater reductions in visceral fat. So you don't need to starve yourself. In fact, eating enough quality food gives you the energy to exercise consistently. And that consistent exercise is what's going to transform your body composition. You might be wondering about strength training. The research shows it's not as effective as cardio for specifically targeting visceral fat. but here's why you shouldn't ignore it. After age 60, you naturally lose muscle mass, about 3 to 8% per decade. This loss accelerates after 70. Muscle mass is crucial for maintaining your independence, preventing falls, keeping your metabolism healthy, and supporting your bones. So here's my recommendation. Make aerobic exercise your priority for visceral fat loss, but include strength training twice a week for overall health. This doesn't mean lifting heavy weights at the gym. It can be resistance bands while sitting in a chair, light dumbbells. Even 2 to 5 pounds makes a difference. Bodyweight exercises like wall push-ups or chair squats, or gardening and yard work that involves lifting and carrying. Even 15 to 20 minutes of strength work twice a week, combined with your regular aerobic exercise, will help you maintain muscle while you're losing visceral fat. Let me give you a clear roadmap for the next 3 months. Weeks 1 to 2, foundation phase. Diet. Add 1 serving of colorful vegetables to each meal. Start drinking 2 cups of green tea daily. Don't worry about calories yet. Just focus on adding these healthy foods. Exercise. Choose your preferred aerobic activity. Start with 20 minutes, 3 times per week. Focus on consistency, not intensity. Weeks 3 to 4, building momentum. Diet. Increase to 2 servings of colorful vegetables per meal. Increase green tea to 3 cups daily. Begin noticing portion sizes at meals. You're not restricting, just becoming aware. Exercise. Increase to 30 minutes per session. Start incorporating the talk test to ensure proper intensity. Consider adding 1 day of light strength training. Weeks 5 to 8, acceleration phase. Diet. Your colorful vegetables should now be automatic at every meal. Maintain 3 to 4 cups of green tea. Create a small calorie deficit by reducing processed foods and added sugars, but keep your vegetable intake high. Exercise. Work up to 45 minutes per session. Increase to 4 sessions per week if possible. Add intervals if you're ready. 2 minutes faster, 3 minutes normal pace. Include 2 light strength training sessions. Weeks 9 to 12, optimization phase. Diet. You should have established solid eating habits by now. Focus on consistency and enjoying your food. Notice how much better you feel. Exercise. Maintain 45 minutes, 3 to 4 times per week. Push intensity slightly higher using the talk test. Continue strength training twice weekly. Based on the studies we've discussed, here's what's realistic. Visceral fat reduction. 30 to 48% in 2 to 3 months with consistent exercise and dietary changes. Insulin sensitivity improvement. 40% or more, meaning better blood sugar control. Overall measurements. 2 to 4 inches off your waistline. A better indicator than the scale. Scale weight may not change dramatically, but your body composition will improve significantly. You'll also likely notice more energy throughout the day, better sleep quality, improved mood and mental clarity, reduced joint pain and inflammation, and better blood pressure and cholesterol numbers. Remember, these changes are happening inside your body, even if the scale isn't moving as fast as you'd like. Before starting any new exercise program, especially if you have existing health conditions, talk to your doctor. But don't let that be an excuse not to start. Most doctors will encourage these moderate lifestyle changes. A few safety reminders. Stay hydrated. Seniors often have a diminished sense of thirst. Drink water before, during, and after exercise, even if you don't feel thirsty. Watch for warning signs. Stop exercising if you experience chest pain, severe shortness of breath, dizziness, or nausea. But don't confuse being out of breath with dangerous symptoms. You should feel winded during exercise. Start slowly. There's no prize for doing too much too soon. Gradual progression prevents injury and builds sustainable habits. Listen to your body. Some muscle soreness is normal, especially when starting out. Sharp pain is not. Learn the difference. Consider exercising with others. Join a senior fitness class or find a walking partner. Social connection makes exercise more enjoyable and keeps you accountable. I want to leave you with this. The research is crystal clear that visceral fat is one of the most dangerous types of fat for your long-term health, but it's also the most responsive to lifestyle changes. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need to spend hours at the gym. You need colorful vegetables, green tea, and 45 minutes of movement that gets your heart pumping 3 to 4 times a week. The beautiful thing about focusing on visceral fat is that as you reduce it, almost everything else improves. Your blood sugar, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your energy, your sleep, your mood. It's like a master switch for overall health. And if you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, please don't think it's too late. Your body wants to heal. It wants to function better. You just need to give it the right inputs, and it will respond remarkably quickly. Start with just one change this week. Maybe it's adding a handful of colorful vegetables to dinner. Maybe it's taking a 20-minute walk 3 times this week. Maybe it's buying your first container of green tea. Small, consistent steps compound into dramatic transformations. I've seen it hundreds of times in my practice, and I believe you can do this too. Your health is worth the effort. Your years ahead are worth protecting, and the time to start is today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll talk about maintaining these results for the long term. Stay healthy, my friends.